the most expensive thing you own, does not appear on any balance sheet. You cannot buy it, borrow it, or replace it. You spent years earning it, and you can lose all of it in about 4 seconds. It is trust. Trust is expensive because of what it costs to make. It takes time, not effort, not intention. Time, there is no shortcut and no accelerated version. It takes honesty, including the inconvenient kind, when a small lie would have been easier and nobody would have known. It takes loyalty, which mostly means how you speak about someone when they are not in the room. And it takes consistency, which is the hardest of all because consistency has no highlights. Nobody applauds you for being the same person on a bad day. That is exactly why it counts. Now here is the brutal part. The mathematics of trust are not fair. It builds in small deposits over years, and it can be emptied in a single careless moment. 200 kept promises do not survive one broken one, in the way you would hope. You do not get credit proportional to your history. You get judged by the exception. That is not people being harsh. That is what trust is for. It is a prediction, and one bad data point changes the prediction. And this is why money cannot solve it. Money buys comfort. It buys status. It very reliably buys attention. It can buy the appearance of loyalty for as long as you keep paying. But nothing you can purchase produces the belief that you will do the right thing when it costs you something. That belief has only one supplier, and the only accepted currency is behavior over time. Which is why cheap-minded people can never afford trust. Not because they lack money, because they keep making the same trade. They trade loyalty for convenience, the easier option, right now, over the person who is counting on them. They trade honesty for advantage, a small distortion because it wins the meeting or the argument or the deal. And they trade relationships for temporary gain. Someone becomes useful, then becomes disposable. Every one of those trades feels smart in the moment. That is the whole problem. Because look at the actual exchange rate. What you gain is small, immediate, and used up almost instantly. What you spend is slow to rebuild, and in some cases will never come back. You are selling an asset that took 10 years to build, to fund one afternoon. Nobody would accept that trade if the price tag were visible. The price tag is just never visible at the time. And it is worth saying, this rarely arrives as one dramatic betrayal. That is the version we imagine, and it is not the common one. It is usually small, the exaggeration nobody would ever check. The minor promise you did not keep, because it seemed minor to you. The thing you said about someone that got back to them. Trust almost never breaks, it leaks. And here is what most people underestimate about the damage. When you break someone's trust, they do not simply stop trusting you going forward. They go back and reread the past. Every kind thing you did gets re-examined for motive. Every compliment becomes a question. You did not just spend the future. You retroactively devalued everything that came before it. That is the part an apology cannot reach. So let us be honest about apologies. An apology is necessary. It is not a repair. It can restore the relationship. It rarely restores the original value. There is a real difference between being forgiven and being trusted again. Forgiveness can be given in a moment. Trust cannot. And expecting someone to hand it straight back is asking them to ignore what they learned. They are not being unfair. They are being careful. You taught them to be. But if you have broken it, and most of us have, it is not hopeless. It is just slow. You rebuild the same way it was built the first time, only with less credit. Small promises, kept exactly, without being pointed out. No campaign, no explanations of how much you have changed. Explaining is not evidence. Accept the slower rate without resenting it. Resentment tells them you never really understood the cost. And do not ask when things will be normal again. That question is asking them to do the work of trusting you. So protect it deliberately before you need to. Treat small promises as if they were large, because that is exactly how they are recorded. Say no more often. An honest no protects trust far better than a yes you will quietly abandon. Be the same person in every room. Discrepancy is what people actually detect. And never spend trust to win something temporary. That is the trade that has ruined more lives than any bad investment. Money can buy comfort, status, and attention. It has never once bought genuine trust. You are already holding the most expensive thing you will ever own. Guard it like it is irreplaceable, because it very nearly is.